Joining me now is former Romney presidential campaign strategist Stuart Stevens and conservative talk show host Dana Loesch. Good to have both of you. Stuart, what do you make of Ryan's comments? I mean, does it bolster the whole Never Trump movement?
Well, I think it's, this is really a moral choice for a lot of people. I really don't think it's about issues. Donald Trump is a bigot. And I think it's a question of whether or not you think in your heart you can stand with this person and accept what he's saying. Let's just, I was thinking about this today. So if Donald Trump were president and he appointed Bobby Jindal to the Supreme Court, that would be a great moment for Indian Americans. But because he's going to ban Muslims from entering this country and ban people from Muslim countries, that means that Bobby Jindal's family, relatives in India, could not come to the United States to see this great moment for their son. It's an absurdity. You cannot support this person and believe in sort of rule of law and that which is stood to be an American.
Dana, I mean, to Ryan's point that Trump has some work to do, needs to, I guess, morph into a more Reagan-esque conservative candidate. Is that even possible for him to do? And if you were able to do that, would you be able to support him?
Well, that's the million-dollar question. I mean, I wrote one of the editorials in National Review, and while I'm not never Trump, I'm almost there. Just depending on how the next few weeks go, who knows? Maybe if he treats us fairly, Anderson, we'll see how that goes.
You're sounding like Trump there.
Maybe, I know, I'm just saying, maybe if he treats us fairly, we'll see how it goes. But I don't know what he would have to do, because remember, Paul Manafort had said, look, we're not going to change Donald Trump. He's been successful thus far, being just who he is. Roger Stone has said the same thing. All of his surrogates have said the same thing. So if they're saying that he's not going to change, I'm not quite sure then what to expect. I also don't see him doing quite a lot to build unity. You know, the nominee, it's their responsibility to build unity. Now, he says he's this terrific builder. Let's see how good he is, how terrific he is, how great he is at building and rebuilding some of these bridges that he has burned. Scorched earth politics comes with it a consequence, Anderson, and one of those is that you're going to have a divided right.
Well, Stuart, I mean, I get you don't like Donald Trump, don't want him as president, but I mean, haven't the voters spoken? The Republican voters have spoken. This is the guy who won the nomination. I mean, doesn't at a certain point, if Speaker Ryan does not want Hillary Clinton elected, doesn't he have to get on board?
Listen, I think that you have to look beyond November and you have to ask, what does the Republican Party stand for? Charlie Sykes, the Milwaukee talk show host, radio show host, has been very articulate on this. To support Donald Trump, you have to buy into Donald Trump. You have to say, this is what I believe in. And I think that after November, that is a very deadly combination for the Republican Party. If you don't stand for anything but election, you really don't stand for anything. And Donald Trump, as far as I can see, is opposed to just about everything that the Republican Party would like to think that it stands for. It's not a Sophie's Choice moment. You don't have to support one or the other. You have to decide.
Dana, I mean, is there something Trump could do? I mean, you talked about being treated fairly. Is there something Donald Trump could do? I mean, is it a stylistic thing? Is it a tonal? Is it, I mean, or is it more policy-based?
Well, for me, it's always been policy-based. I mean, I don't really mind political incorrectness so much, and I don't even really, to an extent, mind the tone. There are certain, as I laid out in the editorial that I wrote for National Review, there are a certain number of policy issues with which I find concern. You know, I'm concerned about his lack of record on a number of different issues. You know, and Anderson, I want to make this point as well. You know, people like myself and those people who have gone all the way to become Never Trump, these people aren't doing this to be malicious, and they're not doing this to be petty. You know, you have to think that these people, I would love to be proven wrong. I really would. I would love to be entirely proven wrong, and I would freely admit it if that were the case. I don't have confidence that this is the guy who's going to be able to bring the Republican Party around. He's already started pivoting, not towards the right, but pivoting towards a more moderate position. And getting back to the Paul Ryan remark earlier today, Ryan's inoculating the House because he's anticipating that this is going to have a very demoralizing effect on Republican voter turnout. He's also giving some shade, as Gloria said earlier, to a lot of these people in Congress who are coming up for re-election. He wants to put some daylight between them and between Trump so people aren't thinking of them as a package deal. He would have to change quite an awful lot, and I don't think pivoting towards becoming more of a moderate, Republicans have been protesting against that, grassroots have for a long time, I don't think that is going to be the thing to do it.
Dana Loesch, I appreciate you joining us. Stuart Stevens as well. Again, just an incredible day, incredible developments all around.